Okay, so the map quiz this time, not quiz, sorry. The map certification this time is what we're looking at. And I've been taking a quick look at what kind of questions are going to come up. The question that we're trying to answer right now is for social studies, what is the next certification that a younger child, like young elementary school ages, should consider trying to get to level up their social studies skills? And previously, I had listed 5 potential candidates for that, and we're checking the lowest levels of each one's to see what is likely doable and what is not. And here, we're expecting, uh, in general, we're gonna say maybe slightly above average, but nothing like okay, this child is a genius in this category or anything like that. So just say slightly above average, or that's what we're going for anyway. Maybe maybe more than slightly above average. I don't know. I hope so, but we're not looking at the highest achieving people, children in this case. So the um, map test, and I'm just going to go through this pretty quickly, and we're not going to do all the questions because it is quite difficult for one, which I'm actually probably going to be putting it at the bottom of our list in regards to what we should take next when looking at these kind of tests, because the difficulty in several ways is actually quite high. So let's just go take a quick look at the first question. And this question is actually pretty easy, all things considered. If you remember, we had these different cards here. It might actually come up really quickly. If it doesn't just in a moment here, I'll probably just go by. But we have multiple choice. We have 6 questions here, and um, and well, we have one already, I think, coming up of these. But when looking through these questions, oh, and I think we got another. So this is like the Assassin's Creed symbol or something. But here it is a certain type of forest, and they're using it in the wrong one. So anyway, I don't think I'll find it instantly, but which one of these is correct with the picture? And this would probably be number 4 here, I believe. Looks the most correct to me. But each of these, memorizing the symbols and such, that is probably not too difficult. But the difficult part, even in the first question, is if you'll see here, everything is written solely in kanji with no readings in them. And I think the actual test is like this, because this test is not particularly aimed at or um, inclusive of children, I'd say. So um, if we look through the test and see what kanji are being used, I would say that it would be probably be good to have maybe a level 5 kanji certification, maybe even 4, uh, somewhere between 6 and 4, I guess. So 5 maybe, before making an attempt on this test. So even if we really wanted to do this test, I think prioritizing the kanji test would be very important. So we'll look at other questions that I think are even harder, have more difficult kanji. But even if the question itself isn't too tough, being able to read it would be an issue. And here, number 2, again, we have, the kanji themselves aren't extremely difficult, but there are a lot of them, and the readings, you don't have them here. So if you're just a elementary school kid, it might have a tough time. And since, we have to get through a lot of questions with very little time, looking at this and then taking time reading it would not be very good. So, um, this type of question, we look at an image, they give us a little bit of information about it, then we have to decide what map is accurate with this. And not only you have to read both the symbols on the maps and look at the locations of everything, um, and have to understand, I guess, what all of these are, and then kind of like the angle of the map as well. So there's a lot of different variables in here that you really need to take into account if you're going to answer this here. So, I'll just at first glance, what do we have here? We have um, a city, what do you call it? City hall, and we have this river back there. We have these castle ruins and such. And if we put that all together, I mean, I don't really want to do this on the spot, but it is maybe this one here. This one, I don't think the angle's right. Anyway, you'd have to think about that and then try and figure it out. And we have all these other map questions giving us, I guess, this is the size, perhaps, based on the information they give here, how big the map is. So we need to do a bunch of calculations as well. And then we have like longitude and latitude and trying to figure out all this. So there's quite a few things that you really need to get down first. The globe. So we have very huge variety of different maps already. So Hawaii is in the center. I guess this is Hawaii right here. What is the mistake that they write here? And is the dot the equator here? Where are we going around? That's kind of hard to tell. The equator be between? It looks like it's on this line. Or is it this line? I'm having a hard time just even looking. You go around the map. It might be. I'm not sure. Tokyo, from Tokyo, Hawaii is southeast. That does make sense to me, but it is far more east than south. So I guess it depends how you look at it. Yeah, I'm not all of them look okay to me. The I'm not. I mean, I don't really understand this route one. So you can connect it with a single line, and then if it is from the South Pole, if it is 10,000 kilometers or more, and it is above the equator, so that would be at least 10,000 kilometers, I believe. So this last one, I'm pretty sure that's right. These others, I mean, this one looks right, but I guess it depends how they define that. I don't know. Again, that's even if you can read the question, that's tough, and if you can't read the question, it's even harder. So we have all these other maps coming up, and let's just again just kind of brush through them for now. Aerial maps. I don't remember how much time we had for this test, but it probably isn't enough, whatever it is. So again, more aerial maps and reading through these possible options. So it's all multiple choice. Some questions they were 4 multiple choice, some were 6, but being able to understand these fully, not just the words, but like what they're actually trying to explain as well, is an issue in itself. Then we have to look at graphs too, comparing countries and rainfalls and all that stuff, and figuring out which is which, I suppose. So the general knowledge about various countries around the world, probably not just maps, is actually quite high. And again, this is the lowest level in this series of tests, but these ones only technically have two tests. Um, so it is not as long of a journey as most of these other ones. You have, I guess, this is a height map of some kind, a very slight height map, it seems. We have more, all just word questions here. And again, like often we'll have 6 possible answers. So this is pretty tough. Um, more, some of these charts, like you, I mean, if you like make things in Python or whatever, then you probably have seen these in research papers and whatnot. But again, if we're talking about a young child taking the test, it's again pretty tough, I think. Oops. So this one, um, there's another one that I don't know. I think we'd have to look at and consider for a while. And oh, we have another world map. Let's just do the world map a little bit because I did kind of want to do this one, but hey, the video. I know my videos tend to drag on and just be me rambling, so let's just pick one. The world map's probably more uh, easier for most people to go along with. So what's the question here? So we have um, resources. So gathering resources basically from the top 10 countries are all this color. So the pink color, I guess. They're all the same color in each one. Um, and so so these maps, they don't tell us which one is which, but we have 3 maps, and one is indicating the uh, diamond mining, top 10. One is indicating, I guess, copper. And I'm not even exactly sure what bauxite is. I think it's maybe what they use in aluminum, or no, what they use in, does that even make sense? But they use it to, it's something to do with aluminum. Sorry, and not more uneducated me is showing up here. So pick which maps are which, and oh, the actual questions, the answers right here, or not the answer, but the possible answer. So we have these 6 possible options, and it looks like any could be any. So if we just look, so we have a lot of countries in Africa over here. Looks like Lesotho is also um, included here, maybe? Is that one, two, 10? Maybe. I guess maybe it is good. So, um, there's a lot of African countries. Then we have Australia and Canada and Russia. This sounds like, does Russia have that many? Because with all the African countries, I would have expected this is probably diamond is the answer. So also let me know what you think the answers are in the comments here. This one, um, all of them have like Australia. And so Russia and Australia, they're rich with resources, I guess, for for whatever, no matter what you're doing. Um, Canada only has one. Canada, I don't think they have a lot of. Do they have diamonds? Again, I'm not sure, but based on the number of African countries, I would say diamond is this one. Um, oops. There's very few African countries here, so I don't have an image of like a lot of aluminum-ish stuff coming from Africa, so I would probably say that this would be the bauxite one, and um, This one here would be copper. I think Mexico has a lot of copper, I believe, so that makes some sense. Anyway, that would mean the answer is diamond. What was diamond? Diamond was, oh, sorry, we had it down below. Diamond is here. So what map is diamond? And we said this one, so it's either 5 or 6. Copper, we said this one, so that would be 6 would be our answer. So we have more charts. Sorry, I don't know, I'm wasting time trying to figure things out, but let me know what maps you think on in there too. More charts. A lot of them seem to be Japan oriented, but some, like we did just a moment ago, were very world oriented. More maps here. Some of these maps are just kind of hard to read. Going on. So different maps, and again, often we'll have 6 multiple choice answers. So it's, even if you randomly guess, the chances of you getting it right are not very high. More maps. So the maps are basically the largest part of this, but it doesn't look like it's solely maps. What is this? Some sort of protection mark, trademark, I guess. Oh man, look how long this question is. So question 18 begins here, and then we have to look through all of this and all of this, and then choose what is the appropriate answer for this time. So I'm not gonna bother reading through everything right now, just because it is quite long, even though it looks like kind of a interesting question to attempt. But oh, this looks like an even more interesting question to attempt. Let's take a look at this. Um, so Japanese anime. There's statues and stuff of it all over the place. From A to C, which is correct for what prefecture has what monuments, and related to what anime or what anime characters. So they call them anime, but I guess most of them are like manga characters. So Astro Boy, who I'd say Astro Bot is recently more popular PlayStation, right? This is Kameari Ryotsu. He's a wacky police guy. Um, so here's our questions. Oh, and looks like we have, was this Totori, I guess? And oops, I keep clicking the wrong things. So let's just go quickly. Uh, the your your neighbor Totoro, I think this was the English name. It takes place here, and they had their 70th anniversary in 2020, and there is anime monuments set up for that. So, where does your neighbor Totoro take place? And anime Detective Conan, they have 12 monuments to it, and the creator was born here. I don't know if they still live there. Very famous, and they also have their like document. What do you call it? I can't even think of the English word right now. Their file facility, library esque thing there, is here, and then C would be the dam that shows up where um, the so the 94-meter dam that shows up in the anime Attack on Titan, and they have like a statue of the 3 main characters there. So, which one is which? I would probably say this is this would be This would be the Your Neighbor Totoro. Conan, I already know is here offhand, and I guess the dam would be here. So in Attack on Titan. So that would be this one right here, right? So yes, I think probably 6. So I don't know. This is so just thinking about this question. Um, it's not so understanding the map and even if you don't get them right away, like what the general locations. If you even if you know one of these, this question I think becomes a lot easier. But you also have to know about Your Neighbor Totoro, Detective Conan, and Attack on Titan. Or if you kind of get the answer to 2 of them, I guess the third one just sort of falls into place. But having knowledge beyond just like maps in this test is, um, I think they expect a lot of the test takers here. And then we got another question here, and this one I probably have no idea, but I haven't read it, so um, oh no, they have the answers here. Oh, let's see. 6 we just did. This one was right. Number 5, I think was the is 2. 5 was the Hawaii one, right? 5 or 4. The both of them are 2. So let's actually take a quick look at the Hawaii question. It was number 5. Okay, so this was the this one's wrong. So they say from Tokyo, Hawaii is southeast, and but why not? I don't understand why not. It's south and east, right? Okay, so even looking at the answers, I don't even understand the question sometimes. So that's not very good. So even if you can read this and kind of understand maps, and even if you like studied it all, I think the level of knowledge required to pass actually seems pretty high. So unfortunately, I think this is one of the tests that we are going to have to put near the bottom for now of what test to look at to take next. Because in regards to social studies, this is because this one, I think the level is just the expected level of knowledge is just too high for a young child to take at this point, and that also includes being able to read kanji. So maybe if we expect that we are going at a relatively good pace, 2 maybe 3 grades ahead of everybody, even if we get to that point, I would still say probably no sooner than grade 4 would I be likely to have my son attempt this test unless he shows like a particular interest in this category from himself. So grade 4 would probably be the earliest, more likely grade 5 or 6 of elementary school. I think by grade 6 we could definitely be studying for this test and expect some kind of passing grade. But the again I don't remember offhand what it was, but the time limit I would expect is actually quite rough. And let's see if they give it on the site here too. Um, do we have okay, they aren't giving us that right away, it seems. So I'm not seeing it here. Oh, actually, we are seeing it here. 50 minutes. So 50 minutes, and I, I guess it is 20 questions. So I don't know. You get slightly more than 2 minutes per question, but the questions, as we saw, they are quite long. It seems. So this is a mini. Oh, we have a mini test here, and this one, the mini test, is just 5 questions. So the mini test, if it is just like trying to figure out what do these mean, um, then that would not be too bad, I think, because being able to memorize these, like this one's obviously a windmill, I hope, or it might be like at a old people's home that is just some weird cult or something, but it's probably a windmill. right? And being able to figure out these questions up to here, I would say, assuming that my son could read the problems um, up to here, probably would be very easy to study for. And even if you can't read the problems, I think it's pretty obvious what they want you to do within these early questions. I guess you'd have to be able to read the answers. Like most of these kanji, they're fairly low. These ones might be hard to for him to figure out. I think if it's a police station or a court, fire station, or a tax office. I think the X-Men one they use for the police station, but uh, yeah, just saying the kanji in general here are slightly higher level than I would like for him to take it if he were to take it right away. And again, the other test that we saw earlier is is much harder. And I think that is the lowest level. Let's take another look just to be sure. So you need at least 60 points for a passing, right? For a passing, and then there's like different levels of passing, it looks like. But this is, oh, I think my screen might not even be recording. So this one, okay, we can see everything on the screen. That's good. But enough with the rambling for now. And just based on the test that we took a moment ago, with fairly high difficulty, I would say that this is a little bit beyond what I'd like to, in order for my son to confidently be able to take and likely have a chance at passing this test. And one of the reasons is just the level of kanji required. The other is the overall level of knowledge. Like previously on the question, even with the anime, like Detective Conan and My Neighbor Totoro, these are pretty old. So I think the age, even Attack on Titan is that's been a few years now too, right? So the expected age of everyone is probably a little bit higher than than 6 years old or whatever. Even if we were going to take in a year or two, 7, 8, it's still pretty tough. Anyway, that is my very basic analysis of the map tests. And right now, I would say in our ranking, I would put that closer to the bottom of what to take next if we were going to just like take them all, for example. And whether or not that is even a good idea is beyond the point right now, but it's going at the bottom for now. So I still think that like the other tests, what did we take recently? We had this one here, for example. We were looking at the news test. Even I think is uh, we get the readings for everything. So the news test is definitely doable, and the um, history test I don't think we've gone over yet, so we'll go over that next. The other one was the World Heritage test. The World Heritage felt like it was more difficult than the news one. So right now, I would say international knowledge tests are probably the most likely that we can pass, and there's various reasons for that. I'll maybe explain that in the video after we do the history one. Next would be the news test, lowest level. I think that is definitely possible with enough studying. Then we'd have the World Heritage, which, if you study enough, I think you could definitely do it. I think they had the readings and everything too, so it's doable, but a little tough. The expected level of knowledge just seemed pretty high. And then the map test would be at the bottom for now, just because one, the level of knowledge seems quite high, and being able to read the kanji seems like it is a must because they don't have it even in the mini test here. They didn't have it, so um, that all considered, even though it's only 60% in all multiple choice, I think it would be very tough unless he works on his luck score first. Getting lucky at just guessing or something like that, or like in the tuning exams, and he able to look at other people's tests or something, right? Um, yeah. So, enough rambling for now. That is all I want to say about the map test. Map test, we're probably not going to do anytime soon. All right. Remember to like, subscribe, and level up.